I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. And this time I'm talking about Bad Boys for Life, which I'm a big fan of the first two Bad Boys films. And I gotta say, I really enjoyed this one. This film was a lot of fun. It was entertaining. It was really funny. It had some really good emotional parts to the story. And there were some twists that I did not see coming, which was nice that it took me by surprise at times. The cinematography, the technical aspects were great. The score, didn't really care for the songs, but the score was pretty solid. It was nice that you actually got to hear a couple times the score to the first movie. I thought that was really cool. That was a nice surprise. I would like to have heard it more, but I did. You hear it a couple times. You know, the dun 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 dun. So that was nice to hear again. And Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, they had that chemistry still. And the movie was a lot funnier than the trailer. They saved a lot of the good humor for the movie, which, hey, that's a big plus for it. I mean, the story was interesting. And like I said, emotional. The two actually had some good dramatic moments that they played off each other. I like that they do callbacks to the first two, meaning that they do exist, so there's one piece of dialogue that does mention Martin Lawrence's sister, who was a big part of the second film. You do get the boyfriend from the second film, if you remember that scene. He does show up. The actress that plays Martin Lawrence's wife, I believe, is Teresa Randall, I believe. She comes back. Joe Pantoliano is the captain. He comes back. There's a new team, which I don't think you needed a new team of people. But I thought it was handled here much better than, say, The Expendables 3 or... You know what this is? A much, much, much better version of Triple X 3, The Return of Xander Cage. Because they're both January films. They're both sequels I was looking forward to. Triple X 3 The Return of Xander Cage is how you do it wrong, and this is how you do it right. That's the best thing I could say. Best way to explain it and compare it. Because Triple X 3's The Return of Xander Cage wasn't really much of a return of Xander Cage, because Xander Cage didn't really do much of shit. Here, these two guys do, they are the stars of the film. And I thought the villains were actually pretty decent, but I've liked the villains in all the movies. I would still say I like the first two Bad Boys films better. Just what I wanted is, I didn't think it'd be better than the first two, and it's not, but it's not Dumb and Dumber 2. It's not The Expendables 3. It's not The Return of Xander Cage. It's not these other sequels that piss, and shit the bed. It's not that at all. With the gist of the plot is The two, of course, are much older. How do I do this without spoiling anything? And okay, I will go into spoilers, but for those who haven't seen the film, the only two, I only have a couple nitpicks. The one flaw I would say is I felt the film needed more action. It didn't seem like it had as much action as the first two movies, maybe because of the new directors. I think it does have a smaller budget than the second film. The second film, I think, was over 100 million, and this was 90 million. But at the same time, I've seen smaller budgets do action. But I don't know, when the action was there, it was nice. It's just not a wall-to-wall action movie. So I would say if you're... But when the action's there, it was entertaining. There was some cool, like, yeah moments. Fuck yeah moments, which I'll get to. So I was still satisfied with the action, but again, this is not Michael Bay. Part of me wishes that Michael Bay directed this. I know he did that one film, Six Underground, which I haven't seen. If you kept the same script, the same story, the same chemistry, like everything the same, the music, but just have Michael Bay plugged in as the director just to amplify the action scenes, or just have more action set pieces. I don't know, I just felt I needed a... I mean, Bad Boys 2 is my favorite because that film is just so fucking insane that but maybe it's one of those things that the studio kept the budget down because of Will Smith, films bombing, like Gemini Man, these other films that bombed, and Martin Lawrence, what was the last huge film he was in? So maybe this is more in line with the first movie on the level of the action. It's crazy. I saw one comment, and he kind of explained it best. If all three are funny movies, all three have well done action, but you would say that the first film is the funniest movie, the second film has the best action, and the third film has the best storyline. And I could see that. So ease down your expectations on the action scenes, but the reason I loved it is because of not only the story, the technical look, it was fun, it was funny, and because of these two guys worked very well, and they like go into your favorite pair of gloves. They fit perfectly, unlike the O.J. Simpson case. The glove fits. There's quite a few moments that made me laugh, and I did moments that caught me off guard, which I don't think this film's as predictable as one may seem. So I do think the script is a bit better than usual for a kind of film like this. Because then there's at least 3 times that I didn't expect. I'm like, oh shit. Which I'll get into that with spoilers. But yeah, I think if you're a fan of the first 2 films, you should check it out. I do want to give a fuck you to the critics because they're two-faced pricks. These are the same critics that shit on the first 2 films, but then give this film positive for the same reasons that the first 2 films were good. And it's like, you critics are full of shit. You gave the first 2 Bad Boys films the tremendous amount of shit it didn't deserve. It's almost as if you'd given this a positive pass as an apology. And I like this one. I think the first 2 are better. But I do think this is a worthy entry in the series. I know there's talks of Bad Boys 4. I would look forward to it. Just amplify the action more. Maybe because of the success they would give it a bit more of a budget, so maybe that would be the case. Maybe this was like, we're not sure because, it's been many years since the second film, and people forget the second film I think it was a hit, but I think it was more of a kind of break-even hit, not like a gargantuan mega blockbuster. People forget that. Because I saw Bad Boys 2 twice in the theater. That's how much I loved it. But yeah, didn't mourn the spoiler starter. Now, I think if you're a fan of the movies and you like these two guys, you're going to have a fun, funny time with it. Spoiler starting now. I love the dialogue. I love, for example, when Martin Lawrence is talking with Will Smith and this guy that Martin Lawrence coached in basketball. Oh yeah, I benched him during the game. Oh yeah? Yeah. The little fucker called me a dickhead. Did he at least win the game? No, we lost by 40 points. Certain exchanges like that really felt in tone with the first two, especially the first one. Or when they're on the plane and Martin Lawrence is cursing a storm and he looks over at these kids. It's like, hey, how's it going? Hey, where are you from? And little moments of that, of levity, brought a smile to my face. So I think the dialogue worked well with these guys. The surprises, to spoil, I'll give them away. The 3 times I did not expect. Early on, when Will Smith gets shot and almost dies, did not expect that at all. Joe Pantoliano, his character gets killed. Sad because I like the character, but it definitely beefs up the stakes. And third, when you find out the villain is related to Will Smith. It's funny, I've watched a couple other reviews and they mention this is almost like a better version of Gemini Man in a weird way. Well, although it's not close, but someone close to Will Smith, and I can kind of see that. And it's definitely a lot better than Gemini Man. The villain, there's this woman who, she has this prison escape and is very well shot. I like the lighting in it as well. And she's pretty badass. And then her son, I thought the guy who played her son didn't as good as the villains in the first two, but I thought he was pretty efficient in his tactics. I think the first thing that made me smile was there's an opening where you think it's a car chase and instead it's getting to the hospital and you find out Martin Lawrence's character becomes a grandfather. And he just did, the baby. Just the way he said that and the way Will Smith remarked about it just made me laugh. And then you hear the music from the first movie. That brought a smile to my face. I was just way more like Martin Lawrence. I thought was on his A game in this, as was Will Smith. Another funny moment is when they're trying to get to this guy, and then the guy just all of a sudden falls on the car, and the reaction, and then they have to drive back in this fucked up car, and they're both like hunched over, and Will Smith is pretty much explaining to Martin Lawrence how you don't have to explain this to your wife. Like, the way they said it, the way it was done was genuinely funny. And the dramatic moments. I mean, when Will Smith has been shot, and there's some really good moments with Martin Lawrence to show that he really does care. Because that's the thing with Bad Boys 2. I love Bad Boys 2, but that was a film where the characters were so butting heads that they almost like hated each other. That although I love the movie, it's my favorite, and you do know they care for each other, but again, there were just so much friction that sometimes it felt a bit off at times. Here you really do that they really care for each other. For example, and when Will Smith gets back on his feet and the killer's actually, or this person's actually put the video of him getting shot on the internet for people to see. And when Martin Lawrence is trying to tell Will Smith, hey, you know what, we're older now. It's not 25 years ago. And Will Smith's like, hey, come on, help me one more time. And Martin Lawrence says no. Again, really nice drama, good acting between the two. There's a good heart to it. It was fun seeing the kid from the second film, and he gets married to Martin Lawrence's daughter in this one. You did a little near the beginning of the film, almost like a little throwback to that scene in the second film. That made me smile. Joe Pantoliano, like I said, he was great. The new team, which their group is called Ammo. Granted, again, there's a part of me that you didn't need a new team. Could have just been these two, and I would have preferred that. But I thought the girl who had a past with Will Smith's character, Rita, she did fine. This one guy who's trying to have a rivalry with Will Smith was there, but I liked it because Will Smith has some funny lines when he's talking shit about the kid, which made me laugh. And that didn't last too long, like the whole rivalry thing. I did like the guy who's like a big guy, but he's very like nice, quiet, meek guy. Like he's such a buff guy, but he's a tech guy. He's very quiet, meek. He's like, oh, excuse me. I liked him. Of the new group, I say I liked him the most because the character wasn't done over the top or anything, and you, in a weird way, I felt sorry for him when you heard like what happened in the past, and okay, that's why he's just very easygoing and very quiet guy, even though he's a big guy. I don't know, just I thought the script did a nice job with that character. Now the action scenes, again, I wish there were more action set pieces. I would say that's the big flaw of the film. Just Bad Boys, you're expecting tons of action, and it's definitely not the amount of action you see in Bad Boys 2, because that was Michael Bay turned up to 11. That's why I kind of wish Michael Bay had returned. And again, if you kept the script, the story, the dialogue, the chemistry, but you just plugged in Michael Bay to amplify the action scenes. And the action scenes are shot well. The minigun scene, I wish there was more to it, but there's some well shot scenes where Will Smith shoots behind him and shoots some guys. Martin Lawrence shoots a guy off of his motorcycle. Nice explosion, good usage of slow-mo. But I know this sounds sick, but I wish there was a bigger body count in that scene. Like you would see if it was Bad Boys 2, you would see the minigun mow down like 40 people. 40 bad guys. I mean, so it was a well done scene, and it was a fun scene. I just wish it was bigger, if that makes sense. And the ending was well done, where the two of them and their team, they go in and there's a shootout. There's a point where they shoot the glass and the glass falls and hits some bad guys in the neck. Martin Lawrence shoots a pilot, takes out a helicopter that crashes down. And you could tell that the directors, they did well in the action, but maybe they were handcuffed with the budget they were given. I don't know. But you could tell they were fans because there's nice callbacks to the older films. Not only the music, the plane shot that goes over the Miami sign. Even the ending where I noticed that Will Smith has like the little machine gun and Martin Lawrence has the shotgun, which is... I think that's the stuff they used at the end of the first movie. Yeah, because when at the end of the first movie, Martin Lawrence uses the shotgun, and then he gets his handgun. You forgot your boarding pass. But yeah, I would still say action-wise, the first two movies are better. And that's the one thing this film disappoints on, I think, is that it needed bigger and more action set pieces. But what was there was, I thought, well done. Just don't go in expecting a Michael Bay movie because he didn't direct it. But I mean, the new cast, like I said, I thought it was done better here than it was in Expendables 3 or Triple X 3. It was sad that Joe Pantoliano's character died. I thought they played off that emotion very well. I think the story was interesting, the twist that came about, and then find out that the assassin is Will Smith's kid. And that the villain, her and Will Smith had a fling over 20 years ago. And then this kid that Will Smith never knew he had, again, brought a little bit interesting thing to the story that did not expect from a Bad Boys movie. The only other flaw, I wanted more action. The only other flaw I had was the assassin at the end finds out that Will Smith is his father. And then he kind of becomes good. I guess because, hey, it's his father. But I don't know, and then he gets arrested, put in jail, and I thought, I still thought this guy deserved more punishment. Because this is the guy who killed Joe Pantoliano, that character. It's almost like they forgot about that. I mean, I get that you found out this is your son, but this is the guy that killed your captain, who we've been with for 3 movies now. So I thought that's one bit of the writing that could have been done better. But done a lot better. Maybe not quite as crazy as with Jason Statham's character, but still, I mean, Jason Statham's character in the Fast and Furious movies. But it's like, I don't know, just something about that rubbed me the wrong way. But other than those 2 things, I still thought this was a very fun, very entertaining, very funny movie. Like I said, it was well shot. The 2 stars had their chemistry on point. The villains were pretty decent. The pacing, I never got bored with it. The music, there's some decent musical points and the dramatic moments. Again, it was nice to hear bits of the original Bad Boy score by Michael Mancina. That was nice too. And by the end of the film, I was smiling when the 2 are trying to sing the Bad Boys music. They screw up the lyrics again and again like they did at the beginning of Bad Boys 2. So I like that this did feel a little bit of a love letter to the first 2 movies. I mean, you compare it to sequels like Alien 3 or Alien Resurrection or Rise of Skywalker or prequels like Prometheus, Alien Covenant, like all these other ones. They did shoot themselves in the foot by calling this Bad Boys for Life, because if they want to make a 4th film, that would have been the best title, Bad Boys for Life. But now they screwed the pooch on that. But yeah, this was, I know I repeat myself, but a good emotional story. 2 leads had excellent chemistry again, some nice surprises. Didn't see coming. When the action was there, it was well shot. It was funny, and it was fun to see these 2 characters again. Just, you needed more action set pieces and amplification of the action. And maybe at the very end, change a little bit of the script. What I mentioned before. But yeah, either way, thumbs up from me. I haven't seen many films this year, but this is easily my favorite film of the year. And I'm sure, based on what's coming in the future, this will probably still be in my top 10 of the year. I had a lot of fun with it. Made me want to go back and rewatch the first two Bad Boys films. And I love the first two Bad Boys films. They're great. This is a worthy addition to it. So either way, thanks for watching. Take care. And we will see you guys later. Bye-bye.